Thank you for asking that question, because just to sidestep a little bit here. What you'll find is there's a very strong misconception about identity theft. People think, oh, it's about credit cards. No. For ages, under 20% of identity theft is even financially related in its entirety. Okay? Identity theft is what the name implies. It's stealing your identity. What is identity? Identity is the very essence of who you are as a person. It could be documentation. It could be photographs. It could be images. It could be driver's license. It could be social insurance numbers. It can be all of these things that make up. See, because what happens is that individual may want to go get a job, but their resume sucks, to be to be blunt, right? And so, but like I take Craig, nice fit guy, young. And I'm sure has an amazing resume to go with it. And so all of a sudden, if somebody comes along and wants to get the kind of work that he's capable of getting, is that person's resume going to stand up to what it would look like if he used Craig's? No. So he'll get the job as Craig. And by the way, if he uses Craig's name and he uses Craig's social insurance number, Craig's responsible for his taxes. Explain that to the CRA. And by the way, in cases of identity theft, there is no such thing as innocent until proven guilty. You are guilty until you prove your innocence. Every case. In fact, I'll go further than that. In 11 years of watching this, I can tell you that everybody I know that is a major case involved with identity theft, the victim was the suspect on the top of the list for the police. Every time.
So
okay.
I break into Paul's office or briefcase, I steal a file, and the guy's name is Bob Smith. I like Bob Smith, and on there is next of kin, social insurance number, address, so I become Bob Smith. And then I go somewhere, rattle up some credit, borrow some money. Is Bob Smith responsible for those debts and that credit?
You're going to have to prove that you didn't incite that.
So the onus of proof is on me.
Yes.
The person who's I
have a great story in my first book. If everybody remember a guy, there was an actor. Oh, I have to look it up. I'll look it up before we finish tonight. And the networking time, I'll give you this. What it was the guy was a hobo. This was in a Depression time, riding the rails across from New York to L.A. And this is an American guy, and he's with a Brit, right? And they're riding the rails across the country together, both hobos. And the American guy died. Now, how, why, who knows? That's not part of the story. He just died. So the Brit goes, well, I want to be here and try to get work. No, he's died. Who cares who he is? So I'll just take his identification papers that are in his pocket, and I'll be him. So he went to Hollywood, ended up by getting some bit part, in speaking or non-speaking movies, because it was the silent era back then. And he ended up by getting some pieces, whatnot. To cut a long story short, he did 160 movies after they went into the sound industry, and he became a well-known movie star. But he was the guy who died, which meant he didn't have to pay taxes, he didn't do nothing, because he didn't exist. That's the way it's done. And so, but it's not about your credit card. It's about being somebody else. I always sign my books the same way. May you be the only you there is. Think about that for a minute. It's a sobering thought. Are you the only you there is? Here's the scary part. There's no way for you to really check until you start getting, and this is where the Legal Shield can help you, is to be able to get on a regular basis your credit reports. So you check to see if there's any activity. That's the only way it can help you, is to get your credit reports on a regular basis to check any activity. And so there was a case in Langley a year ago. I keep saying a couple months ago, but then I got to realize a year's gone by. Okay, a guy gets a phone call from City Finance. Oh, listen, we're just checking. We've got your loan application here, and there's a discrepancy in your application. We need to straighten this out, this discrepancy out, so we can push it through. And it'll be automatic because, hey, you've dealt with us for a long time. You're a good, good client of ours, but we need to fix this mistake. He goes, what loan? Well, for your F-150 Ford new pickup truck that, X number of dollars. He says, I don't want a truck. I don't have no reason for a truck. I'm not buying a truck. What the guy did was gone on Facebook. Here's another, I'm ahead of myself a little bit, but here's another clue, because this all links together. Okay, is the guy went on Facebook and took a false birth date that he had put on there after I taught him how to do that. And so the thief went into his Facebook to get all his stuff, knew that his track record through his research that he had a prior experience with City Finance, so it was easy to put through this request. And had the guy had his correct birth date on his Facebook page, that would have sailed through. They would have never even phoned him. Would have sailed through, right? And next thing it would have been 6 months down the road, a phone call from the collection agency going, you bought this new truck. It would be kind of nice if you made a payment. Right? That's the kind of stuff that's real life.